Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is our Simple Abundance year. We're following along in the year of 2020 through Sarah Ban Beathnach's newly revised 2019 edition of Simple Abundance. Learning all about her principles, reading her daily excerpts, and I am coming to you today on August 27th, 2020 if you're watching this real time. I told you yesterday that this is a favorite entry of mine, and I think potentially out of any other entry we've had so far all year, this one may encapsulate living a truly simply abundance life more than anything else, because the simple abundance journey is essentially at its core one of authenticity and owning your choices and really carving out a life for yourself in the way that you've designed it, right? So today's entry is called Becoming Your Own Heroine. And I said yesterday, being the leading lady of your life, in other words. What do you think of when you think of that? The first thing that came to my mind when I think of being the leading lady of my life is one of my favorite movies, and we were talking about movies yesterday. I know I mentioned them a lot, but one of my favorite movies, The Holiday. You know that movie with Cameron Diaz, Kate Winslet, Jack Black, Jude Law? It's a rom-com. Recommend it if you haven't seen it. But there's a point in the movie where Kate Winslet's having a conversation with another character. He's an older gentleman who was a lifelong screenwriter. So he knows movies and films and characters really well. And she's telling him about her situation, a romantic situation with a guy. She's just really hung up on him and kind of putting up with subpar treatment. And so he makes this really profound statement for her. And he says, I can tell, you're a leading lady. In the movies, we have leading ladies and there's the best friend character as well. And he said, I can tell you're the leading lady, but you're acting like the best friend. And she just was like, wow, I should be the leading lady of my own life, for goodness sakes, right? And I'm paraphrasing the exact quotes, but something to that effect where she said something like, I've been in therapy for years and that was the most honest, truthful thing that anyone's ever said to me. And she was like, it was brutal, but brilliant, And it is interesting sometimes when someone else is looking at your own life and they may have something of reflection to say to you like that really sticks with you. So he was bringing in film because that was really his forte. And so I think of that and I think, are you acting like the leading lady of your life, or are you acting like the best friend or the victim? Something to think about today. I'm going to read a bunch of what she says. But like I said, this ties in so well with the journey to authenticity and really owning your choices, owning your gifts. We talked about that recently too. And when you do own your choices and you own your gifts and things like that, and you put those out into the world, then you have to own what happens as well. But not unlike what we were talking about the other day too, as far as being in the now and making a decision to take any action rather than being stuck and not learning and growing, it's okay to take action. And if you're the one that's going to be the heroine, then what do you think of when you think of heroine? You probably think of someone who's really had an amazing adventure and potentially saved other people, or at least wowed everybody with the journey, and didn't, sit back and become a wallflower or get chased off into the woods or something, So I think she says later, and I'll read some of it, it's like, to be a hero, you really have to overcome some circumstances, right? I suppose you could be just born a heroine. I mean, you're definitely the leading lady of your life no matter what, right? You are the main character. But whether you decide to be a heroine or to just sit around and see what happens and be a victim, that's your choice, right? Let's see some of the things that she says. As of today, there's no one else to blame, Sarah tells us. No more mitigating circumstances, no more copping a plea or copping out. For when we choose to react instead of acting for ourselves, not only do we when we choose to react instead of acting for ourselves. Oh, okay, yes. Not only do we give up our chance to be the heroine, we surrender every ounce of our creative energy, our vitality, and our passion. So that would be like if you decided to stay stuck, right? You wouldn't become the heroine. We become a wind-up doll in our minds, sitting in the closet waiting for someone to come in and take us out to play. That doesn't sound like a great story or plot line, does it? We don't want heroines to be perfect. We just need them to get themselves out of the snafu they didn't anticipate. It's the attempt that makes their story riveting and becomes our inspiration, whether they ultimately succeed or not. In fact, if a person doesn't have real challenges or face to face, they can't possibly be heroic. Who sees triumph in an Olympic long-distance runner crossing the street at noon, right? But someone with a champion's heart is running laps in the dark and damp at 4 a.m. Years of such grueling training make us take notice and earn our admiration. When you're embroiled in a perplexing situation that pushes all your emotional buttons and confusion all at once. Oops, I skipped a line. When you're embroiled in a perplexing situation that pushes all your emotional buttons, realize that you can't cut through the thicket of fear, benign neglect, and confusion all at once. But you can make a gigantic spiritual leap by simply acknowledging that you don't want to live any longer crippled by fear. At the very moment that you choose the forest path to find your way home rather than get chased into the thickets by the villain, you become the lead character, the heroine of a whopping tale. A legend, shall we say, in your own mind, which is the best place for legends to practice their winning moves. If you can't be, it can't be your life until it's your story. By claiming one, you begin to own the other. We've talked a few times now about your life being a story, right? This being the story of your life. You're the artist of your life. So you're designing it, right? To your own specifications. So, sorry, there's a dog outside barking. So, what does being the heroine or the leading lady of your life look like? And how do you think you're doing at that right now? Do you think you're taking the reins, or are you sitting back and getting chased by the villain of fear, she said, right? We've talked about living from the heart and overcoming fear, choosing love over fear, right? Something to sit with today and think about. I really like this one. I hope that you did too. Just want to mention tomorrow, August 28th, I've already discussed the topic. So remember, I'm going to do a special video sharing my financial budgeting ideas and the cash envelope system. I think I will have a lot to say on that one. So I hope you tune in. And I always love sharing extra little things from my life with you. So that will be one that sort of deviates from the book, but it takes from the order principle for sure. Remember, we have joy, harmony, beauty, order, simplicity, and gratitude on this channel. And this one today, in being the leading lady of your life, it's really about harnessing all those principles, right? On the simple abundance path. Thank you so much for being here. Please leave me a comment. I love hearing from you guys and getting your insight. And I will see you tomorrow.